And we're back. Stripe Show podcast on a Tuesday. Hope you're having a great day, great start to the week. Thank you for tuning in yesterday. Matt Janella, it's good to catch up with him. All things Fire Pit Collective. Sounds interesting what they've got going on with the grind. You want to check that out. Remember, here on the podcast, give us a little like there. Smash it, if you will. And leave us a comment, a ranking. All of those things go a long ways as we really just kind of keep the wheels turning here. February is near, which means I'll be heading down to Orlando tomorrow for the PGA show. If you are at the PGA show, swing by the About Golf simulator. About Golf, one of the top simulators in the game. I'll be doing a lot of things there tomorrow. A little full swing clinic Q&A from 1 to 2, and then John Tattersall will join us at 2:00, which we'll do the Stripe Show podcast right there from the About Golf simulator. But it's Tuesday, which means we'll be looking ahead, and it's a quick week this week because the PGA Tour starts tomorrow. They're going to go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Farmers Insurance Open out there at Torrey Pines. Get ahead of the big conference championship Sunday coming up, NFC and AFC. Down to 4 teams, and of course the Super Bowl will be in a couple weeks. And to help us break it all down, I plan on making some damn money this week. Beatin The Bookie, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Glad to see you back in the studio. I'm glad that we have video this time.
Yeah.
I was a little lonely last week doing it by myself, but
you did a hell of a job. I got to tell you.
Somehow we did profit like almost 3 units. We made a run at Cantlay to win a tournament, but. He faded on the weekend, and this tournament last week was kind of strange. 3 courses, only 1 course is televised, so we were pretty much in the blind, the entire time with most of our golfers. Mm-hmm. It didn't really get much coverage. I think I'm not really digging this ESPN Plus coverage so far.
Okay,
it's pretty lacking, but. It is what it is. You'd think in 2022 we could have a camera on each hole every tournament on Amazon or something like that. So hopefully, in the next few years, golf coverage gets a little better for live tournaments like this past week.
Yeah, I was out there. You want to talk about difficult to watch the tournament when it comes to streaming? Try to be out there and cover 3 different golf courses. It's. I don't know. There's a lot of, I guess you could go a couple different ways. One is, look, it's, they don't do this very often where there's 3 courses. This week there's 2, the North and the South, which is a little easier to manage because you're going to play the South course 3 times. But yeah, when you have 3 courses and you got to play each one of them, it makes it difficult. There's actually a little piece coming out tonight on Golf Channel. It's called The Cut. Pretty cool show. I was out there. And I spent some time with Doug Gim on the golf course, who likes that place. And we were out there on the Nicholas course, and we were doing some things. And it was interesting to catch up with him. And he said exactly what I thought he would say about his game. And you'll have to wait to look at those segments on The Cut tonight on Golf Channel. Check that out. Beautiful place, of course, Palm Springs. And, Hudson Swafford. Comes out of nowhere and gets his 3rd win on the PGA Tour. Let me ask you this, Beat the Bookie, before we get started here. And we give out some picks and some handicapping here. These guys are going low. I mean, we are on a record pace here in 2022. And I'm excited here at Torrey Pines to see a golf course push back a little bit. Right now, it is all offense, in golf. And it's no different than we see in the NFL. Baseball really hasn't caught on to that yet. But the NFL is all offense. We saw Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen go back and forth. I've never seen anything like that in my entire life in the last 2 minutes of a game. And
I had the Bills money line, and it was like a brutal.
Oof.
I was celebrating. No way. I thought I won twice. 13 seconds. Look, that was coaching mismanagement. I mean, you should. With 13 seconds left, you should never give a field goal that short.
No.
So it was coaching mismanagement, but something surprises me in the NFL every single week. The Packers did not give up an offensive touchdown, and they lost. I mean, just mind blowing. I mean, on a Saturday, both teams I bet combined gave up one offensive touchdown. I lost both games.
Yeah.
I mean, that never really happened. I lost the 4 games this past weekend. I lost all on the final play. I mean, that never ever happens. And I feel like we say this never happens, and then it just happens again like a few months later. So you just never know what's coming. It's crazy sports world we live in.
Yeah, I mean, the weather's one thing. It slows down offense. I mean, when you're, it's like -5 and it's snowing sideways and you can't feel your face. I mean, that's different, right? That's going to slow down the offense. That's an advantage to the defense. But I mean, offense is what people want to see now, I guess. And here we are in golf, and these guys are well into the 20s every week. But it's just that, gosh, you watch golf right now, and I just don't feel like there's a lot of bogeys to be made coming in on Sunday. And it just feels like, man, I want to see a wreck. I want to see some carnage. I want to see someone hit it in the damn water, and make a double, and it just doesn't feel like that's out there. And but what is out there is a 64, and a 63. And all of a sudden this dude just comes racing up the leaderboard, and someone shoots 1 or 2 under, which is kind of a bad round now, it seems like, in 2022. Man, there's not a lot of meaning to a 64 right now. It feels like I'm just ready for the course to push back. There's a strategy to the game. There needs to be, and there needs to be a little bit of defense. Right now, it's just like it's balls to the wall.
Yeah, I mean, Torrey Pines is a spot for that, defense. I mean, just only once in the last 9 years has the winning score been lower than 15 under. So this will be the place where it kind of puts golfers' realities in check.
Hope so.
We're not going to see that -22, 23 this week.
Yeah.
And if you're waiting to see a train on course, just wait till Tyrrell Hatton starts his season over here. I'm sure we'll get plenty of train.
Yeah. Well, he had a lot to say, right, last week about the course. Perhaps he shouldn't have played it if he was that passionate about the course. Anyway, Patrick Reed, you mentioned 14 under last year, won it in typical Patrick Reed fashion, +1 off the tee, +0.0 or 0.7 in approach. And then he goes +4 around the green and +4 or 5 putting. That's just typical Reed, right? Like he just kind of grinds you out, gets in, he gets in the hunt, and then he's got win equity. He's comfortable, and he knows how to just be there and separate and win. Leishman won at 15. Rose won at 21. That was just a weird year. Jason Day's won here twice. Most recently, he was 10 under. John Rahm won here, of course, the U.S. Open last year, but then he won the Farmers, 5 years ago? He was 13 under. Snedeker has won twice here. Tiger Woods has won 7 times. He's not in the field. But the rest of them are. I saw Jason Day on the range last week. It was good to see him. He looks good. He looks healthy. He looks trim. I'm interested to watch Jason Day this year. He's made some pretty good changes to his swing. He's really trying to protect the back. I'm just curious on Jason Day here in 2022. He likes it here. Torrey Pines, north and south, as we mentioned, they'll start tomorrow. They'll alternate Wednesday, Thursday, and then they'll finish up twice on the south course. They'll play the south course on Friday, Saturday. So 3 times, 3 loops around the south course. The north course certainly is the easier course. There's no question. Yeah. I mean, it's significantly shorter. I think there's pretty good sized greens there on the north course, where the south is certainly more of the test. It is the U.S. Open. They can stretch it. They can make it more complicated around the greens. You're going to see some difficult short game shots this week. But the scenario of kind of building the model like I do, some things that I was looking at here, obviously strokes gain approach always weighs out. That's a big one. Strokes gain putting here. You got bent grass greens. You got to elevate around the green. And I think distance here this week, it's always a factor. But when you look at the course fit and how distance plays out and where that is more meaningful, perhaps on certain courses, this one's a big one. I mean, distance is a big deal, in particularly on the course. So I've really weighed that out. Some of the longer par fours, strokes gain, par five scoring, and then even just a little bit of, some of these longer par threes, taking a look at some of that. But make no mistake, I think distance, maybe beating the bookie here on this course, has more value than any other.
Well, yeah, just, look back to last year's U.S. Open where we had Bryson De Chambeau, leading through 3 rounds, just pretty much using his drive until it fell apart with like 9 holes to go. So,
right.
He basically just went after it with his driver. So I see no reason why he'll do any different this time out.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially on like the South course, we're going to be looking for somebody who can, really hit that bomb. And I'm actually doing I have like a strategy. This season, I've been playing a lot of golfers to make eagle, like in around the plus 500, around there.
Mm-hmm.
I've hit quite a few this year. So my strategy for this tournament is, I'll just look at whoever's playing the North course on Wednesday and Thursday, and I'll find a few golfers, who can hit bombs like, Bryson, Rahm. I'm gonna bet for them to make eagle on the round that they play the North course, because the North course, it yields the most eagles, the highest eagle rate outside of La Quinta Country Club and Glen Abbey. Those are the only 2 courses that yield higher eagle rates than the North course. So I'll be betting for eagles to be made on the North course, and that's really my strategy right here. The North course should be a lot easier than the South course. I mean, I think it's that if guys aren't shooting 300 on the North course, they're gonna feel like they're stuck in the mud. So guys will really have to take advantage of playing on the North course.
Yep.
So I think, we're just going to see that skilled driver. Accuracy doesn't really matter here. It's because there's pretty much a window to every green, like no matter where you are.
Right.
Even with like a wayward drive. So I just look for another guy like Rahm, De Chambeau.
Well, look at the lines here. I'll just pull up Sportsbook here from DraftKings, and of course, there's different books. You got to shop around a little bit, but right now, as we come on the air, John Rahm is 6-1, JT's 12, Xander's 14, Hideki's 18, Bryson's 20, Burns 20, Scheffler 20, Berger 20, DJ 25, Finau 25. What do all those guys have in common? Right? They all they can get. I mean, they're solid drivers of the ball. They got length. Some are longer than others, obviously, but there's really not a bad driver per se of the golf ball in that group. So, we'll get into some of these lines. We like to give away some of the picks, and if you want the full book for Beatin the Bookie, you need to go check him out on his website, because he does it every single week, and he also does it each tournament. He'll give you his daily picks too, each round, and there's a lot of them. So this is just a little tease, right, of some picks that we like here on the podcast, and some of the things we're looking at.
Yeah, and this year we've already hit 1 outright winner, and we've hit 3 round 1 leaders. So it's been a pretty profitable early season for us. So hopefully we can continue. All
right,
for this week.
I feel good about this week. I've done, since I've been kind of in this space, I've done okay at this place. I think I got a pretty good beat at Torrey Pines. On what it takes, some of the things that we've went into. What a great field we got. I've already mentioned some of the names, but you can keep going down here. Zalatoris, who played well last week, he's in the field. Finau, who loves this place, is in the field. Koepka all the way down to 35. There's Wolf, McNeely, and a guy that we're going to start with here is one of our picks, Spieth. We're going to start in the top 40. You've got one of them, and that's your boy, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going with my, John Rahm is my boy more of late. But Jordan Spieth, forever a fan. No one's made me more money in golf than Jordan Spieth. So for top 40, I'm taking Jordan Spieth at minus 150 for 1 unit. Pretty much, he's been well rested. I think he's pretty much a lock to make the cut. So once you make the cut for top 40, you only got to beat 30 guys. And last season he was one of the more talented golfers on tour, kind of regaining his form that he had lost the years before. So I think Spieth will come through with a nice start to his 2022 season. So Jordan Spieth, top 40, minus 150 for one unit.
I'm a little surprised by that pick. I got to be honest out of you. A little surprised. Hasn't been his best place. Missed the cut last year.
Yeah.
That's
why he's getting good value,
Yeah, that's why he's getting good value. That's right. And this is, we know this is a different version of Spieth that we're seeing. I'm always intrigued with Spieth. There's just players that are just interesting, and Spieth is one of them. The way the guy played in his heyday of 2017, and then he loses his game for the better part of 3 years, and all of a sudden he comes back, he wins Valero. Wonderful year last year. They're working on this. I did this swing breakdown for the tour, and I'm just curious. I'm just really interested to see where he's going to be at here this year as well. Top 40. Okay. Spieth minus 150. I don't have any top 40s here. I have quite a few top 20s. Let's get to that. Why don't you give me some of your top 20s here?
So the first top 20 I'm going with is Lantau Griffin at plus 320. Lantau played well last week. He really came on strong in the final 2 rounds, and he got 7th place here last year, tied for 7th. He shot 8 under. He came out, first round last year with a 66. He was 8 under after 2 rounds, so he was just one back, a couple back from the lead. So he's played this course fairly well, and I think he's highly motivated coming off a solid performance last week. Knowing that he played well here last year, I think his confidence is pretty high, and plus 320 for me, that just presents some value. So Lantau Griffin plus 320 for 1 unit, top 20. And then I have Xander Schauffele plus 105 for 1 unit, top 20. This is the kind of beefy course that Xander grew up playing. As we know, he's from the area. And I look for Xander to, really try to jumpstart his 2022 season here. There's no place better than home. So I think Xander top 20 plus 105. I think that's a pretty good bet.
Yeah, and Xander made a good push the U.S. Open here last year.
Yeah.
So Xander, I like that 105 number at top 20. I mean, gosh, you're going to go top 20, you got to go Finau here, don't you? I mean, this is, dude's a top 20 machine at this place. Of course, there it is right there. Yeah, I was looking up at last week. I ran into him a little bit at on the range there. He didn't get much out of his round or his tournament last week. Felt more like a warm-up type of week for Finau.
Yeah.
But I think now he's going to a place where Finau feels comfortable here. I mean, there's horses for courses. Tony Finau loves this place. I mean, you go T2, T6, T13, T6, T4. I mean, dude falls out of bed and makes top 20 here.
Except for when I bet him.
Yeah, well, I think Finau will go well. I'm gonna play him at plus 110. I'm also gonna play Will Zalatoris at plus 140. I like the way Will looked last week. This place is made for Will. I'm telling you, this place is made for Will Zalatoris. T7 here last year. It's not going to be a birdie fest. He was 6th last week, hit it good. His putter was, slightly below average, as it always is. And he finished 6th. So it's like, all right, he hits the ball the same way this week, he'll be right there inside the top 5. And he catches any fire at all, you're going to see with his putter, you'll see his first win. Will's hitting it that good. Like tee to green, he's that good. His putter, damn it, wake up. Wake up one time. And if it does, he'll be in the final round with Rahm. Mark it.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to get every aspect of your game working. I mean, I'm just taking, even from my golf lessons, I mean, it's like I can only take one thing at a time, so I can't imagine trying to do everything correct at all times. But yeah, I agree with, Tony obviously has the capability of finishing in the top 20 here easily.
Yeah.
I have bad luck with Tony where every time I bet him, he just falls off. And when I don't bet him, he beats me. So
yeah,
I fully expect Tony to beat whoever I bet on to win this weekend.
So there's two other names, and I don't know if I'm going to play them. I might slide one of them into a top 40. Maverick McNeely is a guy that I tend to like. He's had a top 10 here before, 7th. California kid. Like him. I think this is a good place for him. Aaron Wise, I'm kind of hedging my bet a little bit. I really liked what I was seeing with Aaron Wise at the end of last year. Now we kind of flipped the calendar, and here he is. And I'm probably talking myself a little bit out of Aaron Wise in this place, looking at previous history. One of the comps to this course was up there in Charlotte. And Aaron's played very well here, but he hasn't played well here. So I'm kind of on the fence. I might go McNeely plus 160, top 20. And then I might slide Aaron Wise down and get some positive value in a top 40. That might be something that I do. I feel like Aaron Wise is a guy that is going to continue to progress forward. Maverick McNeely, young guy. We've seen some good things out of him. I think another guy to keep your eye on. But I'll go two solid, Finau and Zalatoris, and probably leaning towards a McNeely top 20 at plus 160 as well. All right, let's.
I could see Wise. I mean, in Vegas, I think we hit Wise plus 500 for the top 10. So we talked about him for that tournament. He's been playing some great golf. He's getting more. He's getting more experience and stuff. So he's only going to keep getting better and better. That baby face is starting to look a little older. So he's gaining the years, and I think he'll only get better, as the years go by. So I could back that pick.
He plays like Will. I mean, tee to green, that's his strength, and his putter is probably, unfortunately, can be worse than Will. But I did like what I was seeing, the trend out of Aaron Wise's putting last year, and if that continues, you'll see Aaron Wise elevate because he's that good of a ball striker. So when we're talking top 20 and top 40, I'll probably slide Aaron Wise down to top 40. I'll have to look at those odds. All right. I like that. Xander, obviously very good. Lantau's interesting. Lantau went away there for a while and now looked a little bit like we saw when he won the Houston Open. A little more towards that bet. Let's go into some head-to-heads. We've got quite a few of those. Why don't you give us a head-to-head matchup?
Well, before the head-to-head, I had a top 10.
Oh, I'm sorry. Top 10. Yep, my bad.
I have Sam Burns plus 270 for top 10 finish. Burns, obviously, anybody listening to us knows that we're very high on Sam Burns. I think you had his coach on. Plus 270, top 10, Sam Burns. He can easily catch fire in a bottle. If we're here talking next week and we say, oh, Sam Burns, the Farmers Insurance Open champion, I wouldn't be surprised one bit. When Sam Burns gets hot, he's up there with Jon Rahm. I mean, he could birdie 6 straight holes if he needed to. When his putter's working, he's just draining it all over the place. I like his iron play. I like his drive, and I like his competitiveness. So I really like Sam Burns here, plus 270 for the top 10. And it wouldn't surprise me one bit if he won.
No, he's got the length. I think can he do enough on the bent grass? He's probably more that Bermuda strength putter, but he is a wonderful putter. He doesn't get enough credit for that. You don't have to go very far to convince me of Burns. I think he's certainly got to be. He's certainly in the conversation now. And I think the one thing that we got to get used to with Burns is seeing those numbers that are going to start coming up with him now. Like we got to start putting Burns. You got to start looking at him as he's a real player, right? Like he's not. Yes, he's still to some degree a little unproven. He hasn't won a major and those kinds of things. But I mean, the guy's winning. His skill set is through the roof. I would put him a notch above like a Finau type of ranking, right? I think he can be a little bit even better player than that. He's certainly above a Scheffler, who gets a lot of respect in the betting world at times, and certainly in conversation.
Obviously with Sam Burns, I mean, I think Sam Burns has shown much more killer instinct than Tony Finau. When Sam Burns has had the chance to put tournaments away, he's put them away. He hasn't, let guys back in like, Tony has, or he kind of faltered. So I like that killer mentality that Burns has, and he's just really competitive.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the one play I had for the top 10. And now we can go to the tournament head-to-heads.
But you got Burns as well.
I do. So my first 20 head-to-head is Sam Burns -25, -125 against Tony Finau. Tony, like I said, he played pretty good last week. I faded him with Rahm in those first couple of rounds, so I won those. I think I pushed once actually and won one. And I think it's going to take Tony like a little while to get going. His course history here is good, but like I said, I just like the upside of Sam Burns over Tony Finau, and Burns is going to be coming in here. He's going to be fresh, and I just like that competitiveness to get him, over the finish line versus Tony Finau. And Sam Burns, he did well here last year. I think he got 18th, and that's really before. Yeah, he tied for 18th last year. He came out with the 66. He did fall apart on Sunday, in the final round last year. But I think if we go back exactly 1 year ago to today, Burns is a much better golfer than he was last year at this time, especially with the wins he's experienced. So I like Sam Burns -125 over Tony Finau for the tournament head-to-head. Mm-hmm. And then my second one is Bryson De Chambeau -130 over Maverick McNeely. I think Bryson, we saw him leading the U.S. Open here through 3 rounds last year. And this is a place where, if you're a long driver like Bryson, you can basically hit it wherever you want and just get out of it with a pretty good second shot. So I think Bryson's going to try to drive. There's a drivable par 4 here. So I think we're going to try to, see him just open it up. So we'll see if his accuracy has improved a little bit. But I'll take Bryson -130 over Maverick McNeely just for his experience and also his driver. And obviously the ceiling for Bryson is much higher than Maverick McNeely right now. I think McNeely is a good player, and maybe some of the lower field events like, the Fortnite out west, stuff like that. But obviously Bryson, his pedigree, I just got to take that all day at -130 over Maverick McNeely.
Well, I mean, Bryson, you go back to the U.S. Open, and his short game was so bad here. His short game is just not good in general right now. His approach wedge game. We saw him at Century, finished 25th. Yeah, I mean, Bryson, when you're hitting it that far, and I was talking with Matt Janella yesterday, and we were talking about Bryson and talking about how you improve one part of your game and then the other might struggle. And we've seen Bryson dominate driving, but then his short game is not good. His approach wedge game is not good. We know he's a great putter. But he can show up in any course, and if he starts zipping those little approach wedges in there, it's over. Like,
yeah,
that's what happens. Like when his wedge game is good, and you're hitting it that far, he is going to be right there. So we'll see with Bryson over the young McNeely. I've got 2 guys that missed the cut last week, but I'm going to get back on Gooch at -110 over Corey Connors. I think just Gooch is a better player. Connors, we know, is a good ball striker. We know can get very chilly with the putter. I just like how Gooch is becoming more of that more rounded type of game. And I just feel like this place is, you're going to need that, that complete game. I see Gooch kind of following the Sam Burns track right now. Like we're out ahead of Burns, and here he comes winning, and out ahead of Gooch and his progress. Now here he comes, and I'm just going to stay with him. This is 4th tournament in a row. He's playing a lot of golf, though. So both guys missed the cut last week. Gooch was a little sloppy around the greens. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get back on him. I think this is a good spot for him, -110 over Connors. And then you're going to give me DJ +100 over Leash? Give me a break.
Yeah.
Come on. Don't insult my man, DJ. Don't insult him. I know we haven't seen him. I know he's coming off a bad year. I get it. But DJ is DJ, and his skill set is way higher than Mark Leishman. Now, I know Leash has played well here. I get it. He won 15 under a couple years ago, but he's not DJ. So I'm happy to see my boy. I made a post on him last night on Instagram, and I was like, man, I kind of miss DJ. Like,
yeah,
I miss him out there. We hadn't seen him, so he's going to come out. And he'll do just enough to get the Aussie plus 100. Dustin Johnson over the Leafs. Don't disrespect DJ that way.
And I would make that DJ bet with my eyes closed 100 times out of 100. Just because if he's on his game, I mean, he can beat Leishman by 10 strokes. And if he's on his game, like we saw, post-COVID, he was the hottest golfer that we've maybe ever seen for that span, like since Tiger Woods. So he can definitely get back there. And he skipped Saudi Arabia to come here. Skips,
he's going to Saudi next week.
This week there's the one tournament. Which tournament's over there this week?
Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, he skipped Abu Dhabi to play this. So I had to think he passed up on some money to do that. So I think he definitely wants to play well over here, and especially over Leishman. I mean, I'll take a lot of guys over Leishman currently, but DJ, you give me the former world number one. A guy who is really not that far off of being number one. I mean, he was number one a year ago, so he can easily get back there. And I wouldn't be surprised if he put a whooping on him. To be honest, it's all about where is DJ focused. Does he want to play this week? And I think showing up in California for this, I think he shows he is.
I agree, and I've always said with DJ and Rory, it's two things: you got to get their attention, and if you get their attention, then it's must-watch TV because their ceiling's so high. And like John Rahm's a great player, DJ's as good if you have his attention. Yeah. John Rahm's a great player, Rory's as good if you have his attention. And these guys, they're a little further along in their 30s and got other stuff going on, traveling and this and that. And it's just natural. I think you lose that edge a little bit from time to time. Those guys cruise around, finish 20th because they're so good. But then all of a sudden, okay, wait a minute. What'd you just say? Or what's happening? Oh, okay. Now you got my attention. I think DJ last year, let's hope that kind of puts a little fuel in his fire and he comes out and he's peak DJ where when he's playing great, no one makes the game look easier. No one. I mean, it's just like the driver looks like a pitching wedge in his hand. He just, and he just grabs his tee, 7-iron, so, all right. I mean, plus 100. Give me a break. Really? Over Leishman? All right, let's go to one. What do you got? Any win equity out there?
Yeah, I didn't take a winner, pre-tournament, but just for value, if I was going to take one winner, I mean, I would take DJ at plus 2,500. That's at DraftKings. Yeah. Just because, if this was last year at this time, we'd be seeing DJ at plus 1,400, maybe even less. So yeah, I'll take Dustin Johnson plus 2,500 to win just for a sprinkle. And then I did play one first round leader. I played Sam Burns plus 2,200 at FanDuel to lead the North Course.
Okay.
So they have North Course betting and South Course betting, so they're both different bets. But for the North Course, I took Sam Burns plus 2,200. He's got Xander, Tony, Bryson, Sungjae, Sam Burns. So, Sam Burns obviously that's who we're betting, but McNeely, Spieth, Koepka. So I think out of these golfers, definitely Burns is the most consistent first round golfer out of all these guys. Usually he comes out hot. Last year he shot a 66 in the first round, so he came out hot. And I think pretty much Sam Burns for me is an auto bet for first round leader any tournament he plays.
Mm-hmm.
So I like Sam Burns plus 2,200 to be the round one leader on the North Course.
Okay. So I was telling you about my model earlier. I was punching in some numbers here, obviously strokes gained off the tee, approach around the green, putting. I layered in some driving distance, 10%. I layered in par 4 scoring, 450 to 500, those longer par 4s, scoring on par 5s, longer par 3s, just kind of shuffled it together here and just like who's been, and it's tough. Like you can't really get the recent form. I don't think you're getting too much value there, but just kind of overall, like if you just take this large sample size of who's the best in these areas, Obviously, Rahm comes up as number 1. Xander's 2, JT's 3. I'm not playing JT. I can't get my mind wrapped around that putter. I just can't. Like, it's just too shaky yet to me. There's DJ at 4. So you're getting great value at DJ. I mean, this is the point I'm going to make. And I agree at 2,500. He is on my win ticket. And Zalatoris is 5, believe it or not. You know, I mean, here's a guy, I'm telling you, if he gets anything out of his putter, he is right there. I mean, it's just anything. And from tee to green, he is freaking good. Really good. Yeah. Koepka, 6. We haven't mentioned his name. He's 35-1 to win. Spieth, 35-1. I'm just going down the list here as they rank him out over the last 75 rounds. I took a really good sample size, which tends to parse out your better players, right? So it gets rid of those little spikes that you see.
And Koepka made a run here, you know, in the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
You know, so he's a guy more than capable of winning this thing. You know, for me, obviously, I think, you know, for me, I mean, I'll bet Jon Rahm every single weekend, but he's always the favorite, so it's tough to give him out. But I'd say, like, if you want to bet Jon Rahm, like, you can pick him up for plus 750, I think, at FanDuel. But if you want to bet Jon Rahm, you know, what I say is just wait 1 round, you know, just see. Maybe he shoots a 70,
sure,
you know, in round 1, and then he goes to plus 1,200 for the tournament. And then you can just take him after round 1 because say he shoots a 2 under and the leader is 6 under. Well, you know, the winner here is probably not going to finish more than 15 under par. So 2 under won't be that far out of it. So I'd just wait till after the first round and assess where Jon Rahm is at that point. And maybe you can pick him up at, you know, plus 1,200, something like that, because you're not going to get much worse than his pre-tournament odds after round 1. So yeah, the value in betting Jon Rahm is just wait, see how he does the first round, and then take it from there. His odds are so short, it's tough to bet him pre-tournament, but just, you know, assess that after round 1, and maybe if you can find Rahm at plus 1,200 or better going into round 2, maybe take a look at that.
That's good. That's good advice. As I continue down this list, number 8 in this model, Scheffler. I'm going to throw some money on him to win. 25-1. I got him at.
Yeah.
I just, you know, just trying to get some value. I mean, I think that's good advice on Rahm. I'm not playing JT. I am going to play DJ at 25. I am going to play Scheffler at 25. It's coming. I mean, it's coming with Scotty. There's going to be that moment, and I think this is a great course for him. Again, he's got that overall game. He's a wonderful driver of the ball. He can bomb it out there. Kind of surprised me. It's interesting when you start parsing out some of these stats. His 175 to 200 game didn't really check out that well, but the rest of it's very clean. Can he do enough? Can he do enough with his putter? Bradley's played well here. Bradley's getting a lot of respect in this model. Keegan Bradley. So it kind of speaks to, I think, from tee to green, right? Like like what you're looking at here at this kind of place.
And I saw a quote with Keegan where he likes to hit driver on every single hole at this course except for the par 3s. So that's another guy, Keegan Bradley, where we hit him for first round leader last year, I think at 70-1. Keegan Bradley's another guy that always, when he plays well, he comes out hot.
He could be an interesting first round leader. I don't know where he's starting, north or south.
If you want to take Keegan Bradley first round leader, you know, let me see. You can pick up Keegan Bradley right now for
as you're looking, Burger's 10.
He's 35-1 for the South Course. Okay. So that includes John. I mean, he's with Jon Rahm there. So
wow,
Scotty Scheffler, DJ. So it's a pretty stacked field, and plus 3,500. If he was like plus 6,000, plus 5,500, I'd take him. But at 3,500, I probably won't.
That's a tough number for Keegan.
So yeah.
Berger's 10th in the model. Chambeau's 11th. Charlie Hoffman's 12th. What the hell happened to Charlie last week? I was standing on the range and I looked down and I swear I saw Charlie Hoffman warming up and with his coach. And then he, all of a sudden, the next time I see Charlie Hoffman is on his coach's Instagram page and they're hitting balls in the bay. Like, what the hell just happened? Like, how did he get from there to there so quickly? He withdrew.
Yeah.
You
know, it didn't. The tournament last week, I mean, it looked beautiful, like the mountains and stuff like that. But it didn't seem like it was like a championship atmosphere. You know what I mean? Like it's a pro-am. I think it's such a big pro-am. I think that maybe a lot of guys had trouble getting up for it.
Yeah.
I saw John Rahm yelling up at the greens. It's his putting contest. It's total BS.
Well, I mean, here's the thing I would say to that. Like, what you're signing up for. I mean, it's that course. I mean, it plays out the way it was. It's going to be 75 degrees. I mean, the greens were in better shape this year than last. And so, like, when these guys go low here, I mean, they're gonna. What do you want? What do you expect? Like, if you don't want to play in that tournament, don't play. Just wait a week and come here. I don't have any patience for that stuff. I like John Rahm, but that's just frustration, kind of coming out. Yeah. Okay. So I got we're gonna put DJ. We're gonna put some money on DJ to win. We're gonna put some money on Scheffler. What the hell? I'll sprinkle just a small little piece on Gooch at 50-1. What the hell?
Sounds good.
And we got Rahm in there. We know he's the dog. So we got you got your favorite. You've got a couple in the middle there. I like to be in that 20 range, 20 to 25, and then you got a little sprinkle on a bomber at 50-1 with Gooch. Okay. There it is. Farmers, I feel good about this week. I really do.
I feel good. You got to feel good about every week,
Yeah, I mean, some weeks are just like, okay, it comes together, right? Like I'll make money this week. I'm confident.
Every bet you make, you should feel good about before you make it.
Okay.
That's a tip.
Beat the bookie. You're the man. Have a good week. Remember, it starts tomorrow. Okay, get this stuff in now. We got to get off so I can get this podcast up so they can get it.
All right, sounds good. See you
later, buddy. Thanks.